It would have been like, absolutely.
Hey. Call to order the City of Mayville Personnel Committee on Monday, March 25th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Roll call, please.
Gene Prince,
Here.
Nicholas Loro,
Here.
and Nick Steckel.
Here. I'd make a motion to add the Pledge of Allegiance to the agenda. Second. In favor? Aye. Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 2, approval of the minutes. I don't see a copy in there as we're supposed.
You can put one.
Item 3, citizens' comments. Citizens' comments for the Personnel Committee.
Any or only pertaining to personnel?
Whatever you like.
Okay, I'll have to go with that. So, name Tom Beatty, town Elm Grove, Wisconsin. I'm here representing Dayton One. That's the development company that's developing the apartments called Poplar Grove. I'm here to respond to comments made by the mayor via Facebook. I'm going to read a letter that I've sent to the city via certified mail, and I have copies I'll pass out for anyone here. Mayor John Gwynn, regarding the City of Mayville Mayor's public comments. Dear Mayor Gwynn, we are writing in regard to recent public comments attributed to you on the Mayor John Gwynn of Mayville Facebook account. As you know, this matter began on March 17th, 2024, when you falsely wrote that we were in default in a public Facebook post. On March 18th, 2024, Thomas Beatty, myself, responded to this comment during the Planning Commission meeting, firmly denying such accusation. We had hoped that this matter was resolved, but most recently you wrote another public Facebook post regarding the Dayton One development agreement dated March 24th, 2022, the development agreement. You wrote, let me clarify, please. Because Dayton One LLC did not complete building 1 by December 31st, 2023, they are actually in what our attorneys call material breach of contract. I'll be apologizing to Corey and Tom directly for my previous choice of words. I stand by my statement posted earlier. Also look up the definition for default and breach. They are a horse apiece, but there are 4 types of breaches in contract law, material being the most severe of the 4. In italics and bold in the letter, we are not in material breach of the development agreement. Per Wisconsin case law, a material breach of the contract is defined as follows. A breach is material when it is so serious a breach of the contract as to destroy the essential objects of the contract. That was via Management Computer Services v. Hawkins Act, Lafayette County from 1996. The development agreement states that its purpose is to provide, foster, and encourage additional employment in the city, enhance the health, welfare, and benefit of the city, and add significantly to the economic, tax, and residential base of the city, and to do this part of Mayville, as well as to facilitate the construction of the multifamily development upon the property. Despite significant headwinds that appeared after the signing of our development agreement with the city, which was an unprecedented rise in interest rates and construction prices, the development agreement's purposes are still expected to be met, and we have made significant progress on the construction of the first building as follows. The first building is anticipated to receive occupancy in early April 2024. Tenants are scheduled to move in shortly thereafter. The 2024 real estate tax will be approximately $37,841. That's 20.7% above what was originally scheduled in the development agreement, and that is prior to the completion of the building. The actual taxes on the building will be higher. Our substantial and ongoing progress does not indicate so serious a breach of contract as to destroy the essential objects of the contract. We are continuing to perform our duties under the agreement, both in the development of multifamily housing and payment of scheduled taxes. And a 4-month delay in the completion of the project will not impact the stated objectives of the development agreement. As a public official, your inaccurate public comments made by your Facebook account have had and continue to have a serious material negative impact on the ongoing operation of the Dayton One LLC apartment development, leasing efforts, and reputation in the community. Your comments were made maliciously before a reasonable review of the facts, and as should have been anticipated, your comments are being read by potential tenants of the building and have caused confusion and worry among our potential clients. Given this, our investors' capital is in jeopardy, and we must request the following: removal of all social media comments made by the mayor in regards to the Dayton One LLC real estate development, the Dayton One LLC development agreement with the city of Mayville, the developers Tom Beatty and Corey Cruiser, and any reference to any other actions the developers have had before the city, past and present. Cessation of any further false public comments regarding Dayton One LLC, the Dayton One LLC development agreement, the developers Tom Beatty and Corey Cruiser. Conclusion of the city's review of the developer's suggested edits and updates to the development agreement and the city's TIF consultant, Ayler's, analysis of the proposed revisions, which were sent to you after Ayler's agreed that the development agreement should be amended and have not been responded to. Thank you for reading our letter, and we sincerely hope that this matter can be resolved without resorting to legal recourse. We look forward to continued positive conversations with you, the City of Mayville Common Council, the City of Mayville's Legal Counsel, and the City of Mayville's financial consultants. Sincerely, the owners of Dayton One, Thomas Beatty and Corey Cruiser. So I have these letters. If you all would like to take one and share it. I also have what we call an explainer note. It's 4 pages long, forgive me. It was the simplest explanation we could make of how the TIF works and where it stands and the current timeline. And as always, I want to say, above and beyond everything, we've enjoyed working in Mayville. We think Mayville is a wonderful town, as I noted in my other comments. I look forward to finishing this development, and I look forward to doing other work here in Mayville, because we do have a lot. And Mayor, I would just ask that you just, that we talk this out and come to a successful conclusion and get the apartments built for the city of Mayville. That's all. Thank you for listening to me.
All right, thank you. Any other citizens' comments for the Personnel Committee? None. Item 4, discuss with possible action. 1, discuss with possible action positions at Ag Center. Scott, do you have some? Okay.
All right, right now, we're extremely short-staffed at the Ag Center. Okay, we have 5 positions there, and these positions are paying $11 an hour, all right? Right now, we can hire nobody, okay? Nobody is coming in to work for that. The minute they hear the wages, no, we can go elsewhere. We have a few that stuck around, but we've lost more right now. So we have building supervisors. We have what's called a hybrid position, which is a building supervisor and a cleaner. They do both jobs. We have the front desk. We have a regular cleaner, and we have an auto scrub position available as well. We are looking to get the wages bumped up so we can actually hire some people to do these jobs. Right now, we need cleaners there every single day, okay? With the pool being used, the amount of kids that come in, you couldn't get a service to come in once or twice a week. The building would look awful. I mean, the garbage is fill up, the towels have to be done, salt gets dragged in. So we're looking to fill some of these positions that we lost all these people from right after COVID.
Also, our starting wage for any of these positions, front desk, cleaner, building soup, it's $11.18. That was even increased when I was here. So like, we still haven't, I think when I was here, it was like $10.50 or so, but that needs to be upped just to be competitive. I get it, no one wants to spend more money, but to not have, I mean, we have like workout centers where there's like sweat everywhere. Like, we can't just have, like, the library has a service coming in every 2 times a week to scrub the table, because there was, you know what, I mean, that's not feasible. So there's something really needs to be done with this, even if we want to keep the building clean, let alone have front desk staff, process memberships, building rentals. We work for the Parks Department as well. So something seriously needs to be done if you want, this building to be successful. Now, we're talking about just positions here. Obviously, in the finance committee meeting, we can talk more monetary, decision, but it has to happen. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing to a point of how low wages are. You can't get anybody.
And without these people, we have building rentals, okay? We had all 3 rooms rented once again this weekend for parties. Somebody has to clean that up. We can't get building supervisors to come. We can't get cleaners to do it because they're not gonna work for the $11 an hour. They're working on a Saturday, they're working on a Sunday, they're working nights. So that's where our issue is. Do we stop taking parties in? No, that's where our revenue is. So we need these people here to watch over the party. If the people need something, they have to be able to go to the building supervisor and say, hey, you know, we need more garbage bags, we need more tables, we need more chairs. Without anybody there, we can't have these parties, and that's huge with us. We have a lot of rentals.
Yeah, and winter is our busiest time, and, obviously, we've overworked the people that have,
Or,
decided to leave too much this winter.
Correct.
It's obviously, you know, it takes a toll on all of us. We're the full-time employees, but when you think about it, our part-time employees, they really make our job work and work well, especially with those weekends, those parties, cleaning up. I mean, you're sanctioning kids half the time, you know, you have all these kid parties, and attention needs to be brought. We can, address what we think is feasible, but that's what we got for now.
that's
this
where we
position
stand
wise.
on it, yeah, you know.
Are these positions that were filled and are now vacant, or are we
We
talking?
used to have, I bet you, when I first started, a dozen of these people working for us at one time. Now, we're down to
We
maybe,
have one cleaner,
right, a couple building supervisors once in a while.
and then we have front desk staff
And
that
front
also stays after to do the building supervisor duties.
Correct. So
So we're really scratching at
we're down to nothing.
yeah.
Are there any other full-time employees? The rest are all your other staff is part-time.
Nope, it's me, full-time, Scott, and then Karen Weinberg. We're all 3 full-time. And then we have, in total with lifeguards and everything part-time, it's probably about 35, other employees.
But we're picking up the slack. We're setting up the parties during the day. Okay, you're taking your city electrician, setting up tables, chairs, garbage cans for these parties because there's no one to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
There's other places I should be, but tag center should come first, so we're cleaning up these parties. Karen had to work, let's just say this last weekend, we have no building supervisors. We all gotta take a turn. So you gotta come in on a Saturday or Sunday and be the building supervisors or cancel these parties.
And
You're way cheaper off paying
a little bit extra
extra to get these people here to
just
show off
staff.
than to be sending us.
Yeah,
Doing the
the
job.
object is to produce more revenue and more organization, so
Correct.
Instead
that's
of,
where we want to be. We went through this with them before you even about wages increases and employees and everything, and it just didn't, I'm not sure why, it just didn't go anywhere.
Right, and I've had a ton of interviews and I've kept their applications, but they tell me, okay, I can go to Kohl's, I can get $15 an hour and go work at Kohl's. I can go to McDonald's and get $15 an hour. You tell me why I wanna come here and work for 11. The minute they hear $11, they're out.
they're at the door.
There's not even a chance. You have no chance. You just have a couple dedicated few that stayed. But
What was
you,
it?
Chairman Franks, may I ask a question for Mike?
Please.
So you're not asking for, other positions other than what you already have, other job descriptions?
The only one new would be the hybrid where we wanna take a cleaning and a building supervisor and make it into one and just have one person working instead of two that day.
So
You
they'd
know,
be doing two jobs.
they would
in
be
one.
doing two jobs in one, pay them a little more to do the building supervisor and the cleaning if the cleaner can't make it. So they're gonna pick up double duty, but you're gonna pay them a little more.
Yeah.
But if there's people that don't wanna do it, as I already asked, they just wanna be strictly a cleaner. I wanna be strictly a building supervisor. Everybody doesn't wanna do double duty. Some just like to clean, and that's fine.
Then also the other position is the floor, that's been very vacant for a long time.
Right, Mark
So-
left now, he was our
So
scrubber.
that's technically a vacancy, but I mean,
Yeah,
And you have a job description for that?
that's an auto scrubber. You're rubbing an auto scrubber, you're doing the blue room, you're doing all the
Floors, yeah.
hallway, all the floors. That's all you do. You know, and then you wipe down equipment.
and we do have job descriptions right
Yeah, we
here.
have I have everyone detailed when they work, what their descriptions are, what they have to do. We have a copy of each one here if you wanna look through. And you decide, but they do a lot, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Without them people,
well, that's, yeah, our jobs wouldn't even be,
right, you would have to quit taking rentals.
Yeah.
And that's a big
Your,
thing.
Your supervisor cleaning job, that would be like weekends or evenings.
They're always, yeah, nights,
Always like that,
nights,
yep,
Saturdays, Sundays.
likewise with the scrubber.
Right, and all the hours are for each position. I have all hours in the back and when they work.
so our
You know,
building
evenings,
supervisors,
weekends, early morning.
yeah, they come in evenings, weekends, and sometimes early mornings for
Correct,
parties.
because if you got back-to-back parties, you use that room on Saturday, somebody wants it on Sunday, guess what? That room has to be cleaned, flipped over. You had 40 people on Saturday, you got 60 on Sunday. All them chairs gotta be wiped, all the tables gotta be wiped, the floors gotta be cleaned, garbage hauled. And then it's gotta be swapped to the next part. So that's what we struggle, there's no, it's not easy, they're flipping 8-foot tables around.
Any other questions?
Well, I kind of think that we should probably get some information together and address this in the finance committee in a closed session. So we're talking about wages and jobs. and things
Yeah,
like
if you guys
that.
are interested, we'll send the whole, that's all 5 jobs there.
To start, maybe just look at that hybrid position first, because that's technically the new one that we're
That's the new
proposing.
one that we're proposing, because,
And that's what follows the agenda.
yeah, let's just throw a number out there, say, you're gonna pay these people $15 to be a cleaner, $15 to be a building supervisor. You make them a hybrid, if they're willing to do it, you pay them a couple dollars more, you were paying $30 before, now you're paying, say, 17, 18 for one person. So you're actually gonna save if they're willing to do it. And
How many of these hybrid positions would you be looking?
there's not too many, we only have one person that might possibly do it right now.
That's
We have
interested
nobody
right
hired.
now,
Yeah, we have
but in
no,
the future to hire, that
Yeah.
could be, you know, one of our hiring questions. Would you be interested in
Right.
both?
would you do both jobs?
Obviously, yeah,
Right now, a possibility of one person, other than that,
yeah,
they're just a cleaner
or building.
or buildings.
What would be the motion here to refer it to finance committee? Or,
I would say that, we'd have a motion to move it to the, that'd have to be next month's finance committee, of course. But that would give us time to get the information. You could, get a copy for everybody.
So we do on the finance committee right now, we have a bullet
right.
point.
We have it, yeah.
Is it over,
To be honest, to wait another month is.
Okay.
Yeah, because then it's another month of Saturdays were,
I don't know that we have to necessarily be in closed session for that. We're not gonna be talking about individuals there. We're gonna be talking about
Okay.
wages in general, correct?
Just wages in general, nobody's name, nobody nothing, just what you think we should do with these wages. Nobody strictly,
All right.
because we don't know who's gonna do what jobs. Because there are some that clean and some that clean and building supervisors, they do both jobs, the same person.
Another question, Gene.
Yeah.
Have you done any survey of similar businesses in the area to see what they're paying for this type work?
No, I mean, we haven't checked with the YMCA. I feel like that's probably the closest
Would be the
um,
closest one.
would be the Y, but we didn't check,
No,
no.
we didn't.
Do you have any feedback from the applicants on what it would take?
15,
Yeah, when he was trying to hire cleaners, they would say they do it for 15
because I can
minimum.
go to Kohl's and work for 15,
Go to McDonald's.
go to
Make
McDonald's.
a
I
sub
can
at
work for
Subway,
15.
I mean, yeah.
I can go anywhere and work for 15.
This was
That's
talked
what
about-
the kind of cutoff is.
This was talked about years ago. I'd have to go back through my notes from TAG board. But did we ever provide membership along with?
Yeah, but to be honest with you,
That's not helping.
doesn't help.
Yeah,
I bet you how many out of it? A handful of anybody that's been hired
Yeah.
uses the membership. They don't use it. They have no interest in that. Most
because if
of
you're
the-
working every weekend, what time do you have to come back to work
Right,
out, you know?
you're
it's
working
just-
nights, you're working weekends.
The thought behind it was a very, very low resource.
We thought it would generate, but to be honest with you.
No, I mean, I think
You
you
can
got a
see
couple
it too.
lifeguards that may take advantage.
There, yeah, you know exactly, you're there,
Yeah.
they don't use it. No, I mean, it's a good thing to throw in there and add and try to tell, but most of the time, I have kids at home.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna get a single membership, now I gotta buy a full membership, I'm making $11 an hour, no. You know, I can't bring my kids, cause it's just for that person.
All of these jobs pay the same, of the
Yes.
stipends?
Starting, correct.
Starting and then some
Besides
that,
lifeguard, but
yeah.
that's a whole different entity that we.
right, that's different, and then some that have been there longer got the cost of living raises, so if you're there 20 years, obviously, you're gonna be making a little more than.
And we do have multiple of those, so,
Right.
that would obviously need to be kind of thought about when we're talking in finance committee.
Yeah, we'd have to address that because I mean, I'm aware of some of the people that
Yeah,
used to
you-
work for you
Yep,
who hadn't got a wage increase in 5 years.
correct.
Yeah. that's
100% correct, and it's wrong. I'm sorry, but it's wrong, yeah, and
Yeah, any other questions? For right now, at least,
all right, we'll do that, at the finance.
Okay.
Here, perfect, thank you.
all right, thank you, everybody, for your time.
Do we need a motion to move to finance or do we need a motion?
No, it's on the committee.
Okay. Everyone.
Item 4.2, discuss with possible action code of conduct for elected officials training. What do we know about that?
He blowed off, put a line in the packet, maybe he wants to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's okay, Gene,
Yeah, go ahead.
I have been looking at this for over a year. This is the best example I've seen for communities in Wisconsin that come up with a code of conduct. There are several of them out there. They're all very similar. I know I gave it to Roger Smith before the last council put together. And he brought it up and was told, we don't need this, we're all adults. And we saw behavior that was less than adult for quite a while during this term. I think it's important for us to do something like this. I think this is a lot to digest in the course of the meeting. Is it possible for us to recommend this to full council and have the time between now and the full council meeting, the next full council meeting, to read it and understand it, and then have the discussion there?
Yeah, that would be my suggestion. I mean, I've done a number of these, I'm familiar with it, varying different things, but I'd like to have a read over of this and possibly maybe even their lawyer look at it to see if there's
I
something
would like
else
to
that.
have legal counsel make recommendations too, if that's available.
And then I would entertain a motion to move it to council.
Next, so moved.
Second. Second, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carried. All right. Item 5, adjournment.
So moved.
Second. All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
For adjournment at 6:22.
We're going, public safety, Michael Schmidt is just public use, of the Nick and Dan.
Next.
Call to order the City of Mayville Public Safety Meeting. Call the roll.
Nick Laura,
Here.
and Nick Stickle,
Here.
and Mike Schmidt is excused.
Approval of the minutes from December.
They're not.
Okay, we'll postpone them. Citizens' comments in regards to public safety. Anything in particular?
That's our,
Yeah, and
Please, let's take a 20. State your full name and address, please. For the record. Okay, great.
Excuse the lack of formality, this is my first time doing it. My name is Nathan Benz. I had submitted a letter, I believe last month regarding a parking lot on North Henninger Street. I'll just go over, the document.
can you talk a little louder for us?
Yeah. So I live in Mayville on Henninger Street since 2018, and it has always been law that we cannot park on, the street during school hours. Over the years, we've received many parking tickets with forgetfulness on Sunday evenings or during brief stop at home before leaving during work. Myself and others that live on this stretch of Henninger have become very acclimated to the drop-off schedule and bus routes. I feel that parking on the school side of the street during school hours should not be allowed, of course, because this indeed hinders people's ability to drop off their child and can clutter up the flow of traffic. However, from my time living there, I've never seen any reason that should prevent us from parking in front of our own houses during school hours, with the exception of, the standard winter parking lots. When I spoke with the police recently, they didn't provide any specific reasons as to why the signs for no parking are there. And they're actually the ones that encouraged me to reach out to our city representatives looking for, possibly changing the law. Nick Stockwell has been a great help with getting more detail and getting the ball rolling for this to even be discussed, even as going as far as measuring the street width, which comes out to 40 feet, and then comparing that to the width of our largest fire door house for the fire trucks, which is 14 feet. It is universally illegal to park in front of fire hydrants to begin with, so the street has more than enough room for multiple fire trucks if it had to be. And I believe it would be a great improvement to the quality of living on the street, especially with the recent change in 2022, where we can now use UTVs and ATVs on the street. It would be really nice to exercise that privilege, but we just don't have space for it.
Thanks.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Could we get a, wait, no, never mind. You're not there yet. Yeah, so. Any other further citizens' comments?
Yeah, I'd like to. Gene Pring, Dayton Street, Mayville, Wisconsin. Being a member of the Mayville Limestone Museum, I'm well aware of the traffic pattern and the driveway condition behind the library and to the back of our museum, and it seems to be a very dangerous situation. I have asked the lieutenant and police department to look at it, and hopefully they came up with a better situation. My suggestion would be a do not enter at the point of the library driveway. So if we can do anything about that, that'd be, it's a very narrow driveway, a very sharp turn. There's virtually no visibility. There's two big power boxes or air conditioners or something that add to the confusion. So let's take a look at that seriously. Thank you.
Any further citizens' comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to discussion with possible action. Discuss with possible action, potential change request for parking on North Henninger Street. Have you, are you aware of this? And do you have thoughts, something you'd like to share with us on this?
yeah, I'm a little bit aware of the North Henninger parking situation. I spoke with people who stopped in and asked about it. I don't know the reason why specifically it implemented, but I was no parking during the school hours. And after reviewing it, I guess, the only concern that I think would address it would be during drop off and pickup hours, but kids potentially running across the street to get to a car.
That's the only thing I could think of that would be, not the reason why there's that parking restriction during school hours. Outside of that, I don't know.
Is it actually, I've even tried to go through there, but I get home from work too late, it's already cleared out by the time I get there. Is it actually congested there during drop off and pickups?
They have a one-way, system for pickups where they all flow up, to the pickup area and come back down. So right now, nobody's parking across the streets that aren't utilities going across.
I mean, I understand how school, I live right next to St. John's, I understand how congested it can get and how busy it can get during, school pickups and drop offs. And I'm just wondering, and I did drive through there and I noticed too that it's quite a wide stretch of, road there. I wouldn't be opposed to maybe at first trying it for a limited period.
For inconsistency also, up on Clark Street, they have 2-hour parking on both sides. And Clark Street, as I measured in anyway, I'm within a couple inches, Henninger's 40 feet wide and Clark is 35. And they have, you could have 2 big pickup trucks parked right across the street from each other, you know what I mean? And reducing the width of the roadway. And there was concern about, well, what happens if an emergency vehicle needs to get through and things like that, So there are some signs on Henninger, and as I talked to some people, some history information, there's some no U-turn signs on there because I guess one time somebody decided to pull a U-turn real quick as their kid was, or another kid was going across the street. So that's already taken care of with the U-turn, but it is a really wide street and it really, I mean, if I lived there, I'd be thinking this.
Yep. So in looking at it, my only, I guess, opinion on it would be, because it's an elementary school, you have a bunch of young kids. That's probably the biggest difference, why you have parking differences or restrictions that are given by the high school versus by the elementary school.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
So what are the regulations now? Is it on either side of the street or just the,
No, on the east side of the street, there's no parking during school hours.
on the east side of the street?
Correct.
That's the side of the way.
That'd be on the side of Way. So in
School
my,
side.
no, opposite the school side.
Opposite the school.
Okay,
So-
resident side.
So along the residence. There's no parking during the school hours, so, like I said, I don't know the reason why that was initially established, but looking at it and thinking about it, the only thing that I can imagine is probably always putting on kids not coming across the street. More especially during the pickup and drop off times. Maybe it had something to do with buses, in fact, at some point in time, I don't know. But that's my input on it, take into consideration.
Do you have a recommendation? What do you think?
I don't have a recommendation one way or the other, but that's my input. As far as law enforcement officer is concerned, looking at the safety aspect of it.
Well, I can guarantee that it's very congested there during opening and closing of school. And I was on the public safety committee when we passed this ordinance 5 years ago or something like that. And the previous police chief was adamant about it. He spent a lot of time looking at it and safety viewpoint, and that was the reason. For it, yeah, he just felt that it would be much safer. I, for one, now just avoid that area during that time, but
I think the majority of
residents
around
know.
that is located at times.
And Nathan's in my district, so I'm trying to go to bat for a constituent here.
That's
so-
clear, understand. So
But
like I
it's a
said,
real wide street, so.
Are there any other stakeholders that we're not taking into account on this? Should we maybe reach out to someone from the school, get an opinion from them? Or?
May I make a comment?
Sure.
I see a completely different situation with the high school and the elementary school. The high school, the students, well, first of all, I can't guarantee that they're any more level-headed than the elementary school. I don't know that for a fact. But one would hope they would be. They're going into the parking lot to get in their cars, or they're getting on a bus that's in the in the bus area down by the cafeteria, so they're not exposed to the street on Clark Street. I guess I would be concerned to have cars parked on the side away from the school, especially if kids would be going across the street to get there. Because I think I'm with former police chief, I see a hazard there. And I also see it's a real pain to be a property owner over there, and I don't know,
And that brings up another question too. When I was in school, school let out and it was just kind of a mad rush. Everyone went their own direction out the door. I know that's not the way it's being done now in St. John's. They're dismissing them in groups up to a whole little pickup pattern that I don't entirely understand in their parking lot, but it's very organized and very specific where goes where and gets picked up where. Is something like that going at the middle school too? Are the kids getting released to the pickup in that little driveway thing or?
That's my understanding is they're released to the parent in that pickup as they drive up, but there are some that park down below. Not many, but I have noticed that there's parked down below and their children will walk down the cars there. But they have a good system that seems to work well. There is some backup on the west side, but that's just a function of waiting in line to pick up.
Best option be no parking restrictions. What would be the second best option?
I think parking restrictions during the drop off and pickup hours, so it would be 7:30, 8 AM, around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That would make the most sense to me if there were to be any restrictions. And like I said, I've lived there for many years now, and it's actually kind of odd how efficient the drop off and pickup is with the ramp up to the school. And then as they're being released, I hear every day like clockwork, the teachers are calling out numbers for groups of kids to be sent to their parents. And it's extremely rare for anyone to even be dropping off or picking up their child on the resident side of the street. Everyone follows, it's like an unspoken rule. Everyone just follows on the school side up and down the ramp. And then they have the crossing guard up the street by Breckenridge that does a good job as well.
That's what I saw the few times that I got there at, when school was letting out.
Yeah, they do a really good job there.
And again, I don't understand if I've witnessed something out there also very organized and very, very much like that going on in St. John's where I live.
Can I make a comment?
Recognized?
I think the biggest concern is if you can park on that side of the street, people are gonna be dropping the kids off on that side of the street and having to cross the street to get to school.
Well, like you said, though, we could eliminate that by restricting parking during 7 to 8, and then again from 2:30 to 3:00.
does that solve a problem for you though?
It would make it easier. I work remotely, so my life is pretty flexible in terms of, being in and out. I think ideally it would be best just to have no restrictions whatsoever, in my opinion. And going back just a few seconds ago, isn't it only legal, or isn't it only technically parking if you actually park the vehicle there, turn it off and leave it? Because I thought if you just park the vehicle there to drop a kid off, that's not technically parking. So I don't think that would be a discouragement for people using our site to begin with.
Question with that, that's your guidance on?
Yeah, I think that'd be considered stopping or standing if it's occupied versus getting out. They're kind of getting into a technicality that doesn't really address the issue.
So what do we want to do with this?
You two guys, don't look at us.
Unfortunately. I've looked it over and I'm in agreement with the resident, that
So what we'd be talking about is moving this to full council, right?
Either that or not.
Yeah.
And which option are we talking about? The full removal of the parking restriction, or you're going to try to narrow those windows down into 2 windows that
That's
have
up to you guys.
That would be,
larger?
that would be open to a motion.
I would recommend taking some more time doing further research. This would require an ordinance change. It's fairly costly. And so we would want to get it right the first time. So,
At least we're making progress on it.
yeah, no, absolutely. What I would suggest is, perhaps postponing to next month's, if Alderman Steckel, if you want to continue doing the work, we can identify what all is entailed and put a proposal together for further consideration at next month's, committee.
I'll go with that. I'll make a motion to table this issue until the next committee meeting.
Second for me.
May I make a recommendation that, while you're investigating, you might have some conversation with the school and see what they're doing and how they feel about
They're definitely a stakeholder in this. They're not the only one, obviously, but they're definitely a stakeholder in this. And wouldn't even be the worst idea to maybe get in contact with our EMS and fire.
For sure. So the members of the council, the members of the committee are just two of you here tonight, so a motion to table, motion to postpone to the April public safety committee.
I guess I seconded.
Okay, first, motion and seconded,
We have to vote.
and you have to vote.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Carries. With that being said, I have a motion for adjournments open.
Oh,
You're right. Sorry, getting ahead of myself again. Discussion with possible action addressing the safety concerns of the driveway between the library and the limestone museum. The idea being to put in a no or do not enter sign to restrict traffic that way, or turn it into a one-way.
I guess I'd offer some information from the police department, what they think would be the best way.
This isn't anything that I'm familiar with, so I don't have any input on that. Oh, I get you, restrict it to one-way traffic, if you know, just my opinion.
Well, I get a little problem with one-way traffic because our parking lot is on the north end of the buildings. So if we make it one way, either we gotta come into the parking lot and park and then come back out that way, or enter the parking lot through the treacherous curve.
Would a mirror help? Sometimes they put a mirror on a building or something.
I had a
like that.
suggestion for that, and personally, I don't think,
Okay,
mirrors would work.
all
I
right.
mean,
And the
Maybe.
stopgap of caution blind driveway sign, well, people don't pay attention to those, do they?
would we really need an ordinance because it's really a private drive?
I think that, no, I don't believe it would require an ordinance.
Steve Jackson.
And further, so this is the drive for the library. Have you had discussions with anyone on the council for it?
Gino had mentioned he was looking at it, and that was as far as,
Okay.
I think there's a solution there with some strength.
And I've got feedback from mostly museum members.
Sure. So I'm sorry to jump in, I was asked Corey, do you think that there's a solution we might be able to work out?
I think there is.
Okay.
Question, are there any delivery trucks that need to use that driveway? Because they're no fun to navigate small.
No, from the library side, the perspective or function of that drive was really to let deliveries and people, dropping off books out. So they have no reason to come in that direction.
Garbage truck. Yeah. Would be the only one. And I'm sure, I bet the garbage truck can't make that turn. And he'd have to back up from the other street anyway. Something they have that.
So my recommendation would be to try to find a solution, work with Corey, find a solution. And it's not something that would require an ordinance change.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
find a mutually agreeable solution. And then bring it back to the council with your findings on what you agreed on. That would be my recommendation.
Are we gonna need a motion on that, or we just don't take action?
No action.
Um, No action taken on item 2. With that, an adjournment is in order.
Motion, we second.
You motion, Mr. Stecker.
We need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn made by me.
Second,
And then all in favor?
all in favor, aye?
All right.
Aye. Going on to
Public Works.
Public Works.
You want to set the gavel down?
thing.
In lieu of having a mic.
So, this is Keith Lodahl and Tony the Baker.
So I have the hammer in my hand here.
There you go.
In the absence of Mike Schmidt, I will take the chair and call this meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Keith Little,
Here.
Tony Baker,
Here.
and Mike Schmidt excused.
And, once again, no minutes?
2 minutes.
Okay. Then citizens' comments. Are there any citizens' comments for the Public Works Department? On item 4, items of discussion, possible action, there are none. So that leads us to 5, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second, all in favor? Aye. So ordered.
You're on 15.
Hey, the best one tonight. And you're back in charge.
Right. Call to order the City of Mayville Finance Committee meeting on Monday, March 25th, 2024 at 6:44. Roll call, please.
Keith Rains,
Here.
Tony Baker,
Here.
Keith Little.
Here.
Approval of the minutes. We do not have minutes. Okay. Item 4, citizens' comments. Any citizens' comments for the finance? None? Being none? Items of discussion. 1, discuss with possible action, Hague Center roof bill. Bid.
So just to touch on this, this technically does not need to be on this agenda. We are using no taxpayer money. And we are using all of the Bachhuber money that was left over from the 2017 reconstruction of all, where they're at the community center rooms and then the pickleball court 24/7 area. So this is no taxpayer money. It's all covered. So frankly, we can, what's the technical term for it?
Okay. Yeah, this doesn't have to go to the council.
No, well, the recommendation of council is to proceed with opening the bids, since it'll be over $25,000. Yeah.
So
Is,
that's where kind of the disconnect is because
Oh.
since this is not taxpayer money,
yeah,
that doesn't even need to take place. And we had a meeting with Cam about it,
Okay.
and Cam said yes, since it's coming from that Bachhuber fund that was left over.
the funds,
You are in the clear to accept that bid and move forward.
comfortable.
And you did have the discussion with the Hague Center or the Buckyver people.
Well, the Bachhuber fund is there for us to use. John Stork and Mike Kurtz were also in the conversation with me. They're also in charge of another board called Take Center Inc., who also makes a donation every year. So they definitely have their foot in the game here. So yes, right, there are many conversations and more conversations to even try to raise more money in the works.
Yeah, and I had a conversation with the Buckyver Foundation on this also. got the okay, because there was always kind of a gray area with the council about how that money was spent, but they were in agreement, with that.
Yes, perfect.
That we don't need any action at all.
Right. Correct.
Yeah. Discuss with possible action, take center new wage scale for employees.
So this is just piggybacking off of what we did in personnel. I would see as fit to propose type of hourly wages. I don't know if you guys would like to do that first. We can kind of,
Well, we pretty much beat that up already. You need $15 an hour, you want 17 for the hybrid position. We can't make anything firm tonight. We can recommend it to the council at the next council meeting.
correct,
I
yeah,
would suggest as we start there, and this is an opportunity now for you to contact other similar businesses in the area.
so I just did.
Okay.
When you guys were in the other meeting, I called, the Beaver Dam or the YMCA in Beaver Dam. They're building supervisors, so their technical term, which is the same as ours, after hours, when your full-time people are gone, they make $15 an hour. Cleaners are a little bit less than that, but if you're just thinking in a hindsight, $15 an hour is a great starting point off of this, cleaner and building suit position. And then obviously the hybrid position, you would kind of have more responsibilities in a sense. You'd be one person technically in two jobs. So I think 17 would be a really good recommendation just to start with that. And then also with, we kind of were talking about front desk as well. We think 15 would be a good start with that. Just to get people in, I mean, in quality,
I don't
you
have a
know.
problem. How are you gonna, the concern came up with people that have been there for a while and that, potentially need to be working into a higher wage than what they are now. Do you do job evaluations and that sort of thing now?
For part-time employees, we really don't, or we haven't done evals.
They did because they would hold back some of their raises according to their attendance. So I know a couple building supervisors that got held back because they were off for surgery or something, which really wasn't fair, but that was the discretion of the other person in charge of the take center at that time, and they said, no, we're not giving him a raise because he wasn't here enough days. So they do evaluate, they do see how many weekends they pick up, how many days they work during the week.
I guess I'd recommend that, to deal with the folks that have been there for a while, that you figure out a way to do that through evaluations. We've done something similar to that in other areas within the city.
Okay,
But
and I mean, I did kind of brainstorm this a little bit. You could always, I mean, a bonus, you know, something along the lines of, hey, you've been here for 20 years, we still have people like that, you might as well, you know, put a monetary value on 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, you know, 5 years.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, this is crass. Do you have serving employees now that aren't making less than 15 an hour?
Almost all of them,
they need to come up,
Every one of them.
yeah,
they need to come up to whatever we come up with tonight. I think that's a given.
yeah,
Well, that was kind of what I was getting at. That should be, we can't be hiring new people.
the closest to $15 an hour in these three positions is $12.75.
All right, so everyone's gonna get a raise if this goes through the council.
Correct.
That stuck it out, yes.
Recognize.
Comment, we might be tempted to try to match Beaver Dam, for instance, but they have a bigger labor pool just in the community than we do. So even if we exceed Beaver Dam, we may need to do that just to get the qualified applicants.
Right, I agree.
Okay. May I ask a question?
Yes.
In your budget year to date, do you have openings you haven't been able to fill?
Yeah.
So my question is that's gonna impact your budget performance to date, so we likely have money available to reallocate for the year without exceeding your current budget because you have openings that haven't been filled for
For
time.
years,
Right.
for years, we've been really short, so there should be extra money
Okay,
through all the years that hasn't been.
I don't know
used.
that it carries over year to year, but
It
at least
Yeah.
for sure you have some for this year.
Yeah,
But what's the average hours of the,
I mean, I'm looking at just last, payroll that we got paid on last Friday, so this was from March 3rd to March 16th. I mean, I won't say names, obviously, but, front desk clerk for 2 weeks, 42 hours. We got Tammy, we got another lady who does great work for us, 5.5 hours, building soups, 15.5. Front desk, who also does some of our part-time training, 23.5 hours.
Per week or for 2 weeks?
This is for a pay period, so from March 3rd to March 16th.
okay.
But that isn't mine, we're picking up slack for all the,
But we still have to make sure we address this with the handbook for the hours. I don't know how many hours. We used to be 20, but
It's
I
supposed to
think
be
we-
23
they can have.
What is it?
23
23.
a week,
And then
so
they-
46 and
they have to get
46 and,
Yeah.
yeah.
then you'd have to give benefits.
Yeah, and
Right.
probably the,
Well, you'll have to
raise.
manage that.
Right, so then, I mean, right here, no one has exceeded 46 hours.
Always watch that.
But we
That's
watch it.
watched pretty closely.
You're on the committee.
Yeah, but I'm gonna make a motion. Are you?
Okay, the only other thing I'd say is, do we have to address this in the handbook, for raises? I mean, the annual raise or how we handle that?
Do you have annual raises in your handbook?
Yeah,
Just
you were
so we, full-time got one, but part-time did not this past year. Um.
These are all part-time jobs we're talking about.
These are all part-time jobs, correct?
And so we have, you're looking for a salary of $15 for the majority of the part-time jobs, with the exception if someone's doing the hybrid job, they get 17.
Correct.
I make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
All right, got a motion?
Second.
Second? All right, take the roll call. Please.
Gene Prince,
Aye.
Tony Baker.
Aye.
And Keith Little.
Aye.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Number 3, discuss with possible action, new contracts or courses you
Thank
received
you.
machine with different goals.
Your postage machine, Tom? Your name's up here.
We still use postage.
Yeah, we use it all the time.
A lot of stuff.
We have.
Do we have a quote from them or,
It's in the back of here, I think.
is that?
Yeah, okay. Wonderful.
When was the last time you renewed this?
the Pitney Bowes machine that we currently have on site is antiquated and is no longer supported. So we don't have the option of adding.
Well, right now, we actually are using stamps because we can't load postage on it.
Where is, I just went through this. I don't see a quote in here.
There's a quote.
I'm not seeing it, they're just talking about. With the renewal, you get the latest.
Isn't that the email between Pitney? Here's the email.
One that has my name
With Lynn,
There's no.
but isn't there a quote? Hang on one second. I'll go
The Simpro C Auto, is that the, there's no dollars, postage machine?
I don't see.
I think they're referring to this DM 400 as being the latest and greatest.
I don't think there was an attachment.
Okay. Okay. He's. We've got the, Tony is, going to check his email, what he's got directly from Pitney Bowes. There may be an attachment that was missing.
There's a lot of scheduling discussion in here. Which we really don't need.
Just to give you guys an example, when we did the primary for the election, we ran all of the ballots, the absentee ballots through the machine, through the postage machine. This April's election for the absentee ballots, we had to hand stamp them all because we couldn't upload to the machine. We do have monies out there to try and so we have to send people a check. And then they have to, confirm the upload. But at this point, we still have not gotten confirmation that it's going to be able to be uploaded. So right now, we've been just using stamps because we can't use the machine. We can use it for sealing envelopes, but that's about it for right now.
Here we go, Mayville agreement. Okay, cool, thank you.
So
Quarterly billing of, it's a 60-month term, $139 a month, billed quarterly, $416 a quarter. And you've confirmed that that would give you the volume to,
I have not done it all, it's one of those.
okay, did you get any confirmation from her that, I mean, did she look at past?
she
Historical.
said that's equivalent to what we have now.
Okay, perfect. So,
Do we have finances in the budget for this?
it's normally built into the budget.
Yeah, I mean, we're already paying for it.
Yeah,
Does that change considerably from the previous one?
No,
Oh,
okay, so in preparation, so if the committee makes a recommendation to the council to proceed in between now and then, it would be helpful in the packet to have just a comparative, what do we build now?
comment. I haven't looked at the quote, but it's not a use it or lose it volume situation, is it? I mean, if we have a few low usage months, that just accrues, right?
no, it even
Uh,
carries over.
Right.
Machine.
Yeah, that's great. Awesome, thanks.
So this will be, they would be delivering to us a new device. We're leasing the device, right? And this includes the postage for that device, or we reload it over?
We'd have to reload it.
Okay, so we currently, the machine that we currently have on site in City Hall in the front area, I'm certain is, double check, but I'm certain you're not paying anything for the hardware any longer. It's just, it's no longer supported, right? And so this would be a discretionary amount, $416 a quarter. And my recommendation would be to go ahead and recommend to the council to approve. And I'll work with Tony and Christine to make sure the council has all the details that they need to follow up and make a final decision on the meeting on the 8th.
Comment?
You wanna make the motion?
Yeah, especially if we're considering the alternative being using manual stamps. I mean, there's a pretty significant time and effort and labor hours savings. on that,
Discount
too.
with
I'm sure, yeah, now those automated, I mean, is it literally, you get to put a stack of 100 envelopes and it just runs them? Okay, yeah.
Or if you want to stick it.
Yeah, I see it says Wi-Fi. I don't know what the old one is. I remember taking them to the post office and having
They have
them
it.
loaded.
Yeah.
This one does have it, you can upload it, but you have to have that check to Pitney Bowes before you can upload it.
Oh,
This way, I think, I don't know how Tony has it set up, but I think it's gonna be an upload much easier than, okay, we gotta send a check, now we gotta wait for the approval of the check and then upload. So I guess that's something else that we'll have to make sure how the upload.
It probably has one of those modems in it like we had in the 80s.
Right.
Sure.
So the one we have now, steam powered.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to recommend
Okay,
upgrading the,
motion.
Pitney Bowes machine.
I'll
The
second.
commission.
Second, all right, to move it to
The council.
council. All right, those in favor say aye.
Aye. Oh, wait a minute, does this have to be a roll call? It involves money.
It should, yes.
You think so? Oh, okay.
That would.
All right, let's do a roll call.
Jean Frank,
Aye.
Tony DeBaker,
Aye.
and Keith Lovell.
Aye.
Let's carry. And four, discuss with possible action, new rates for Kunkel engineering services.
This is the same one that we saw the other day.
Is that,
There's
that
two in
the
there.
spreadsheet?
There's a current one, and then the new one is in there as well. The new one is.
But what are our options with this? Either we approve it or we get someone else. Is that the idea?
So your options are to make no cha- or agree to making no changes to the fees as proposed. Rob Pro, Rob Pro came forward and said that our fees don't match market compared to other communities, so he recommended these new fees, the new fee sheet or rate sheet.
Okay, and these are fees the city collects. It's not his fees. He gets a set amount.
These are the city fees that we charge. We charge residents.
Yes.
So I assume that raising those or changing those to meet what other communities are doing.
Yeah.
Uh,
He insists we're losing money on many of these things.
I'd kind of like,
Occupancy permit? Yeah,
I'd like to take the time to look these over and see how much we're looking at and the way it changes.
In comparison to the,
yeah, and
previous.
it's not urgent, right? I mean, if you wanted to wait a month, but certainly spend the time and compare. One example was the occupancy permit. We currently bill or charge $20 for a commercial occupancy permit. And if you look at the checklist and everything that we do, if we're, I mean, what's his new proposed fee for occupancy? 50, yeah.
Yeah, I'd appreciate the time to look at that.
Yep. So it would be appropriate to make a motion to postpone until the April Finance Committee.
I hope we table this until the April Finance Committee
We
meeting.
need to table it to, the next finance committee.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. Item six, discuss with possible action, additional work for this year's Mill and Green Street. Oh, I'm sorry, I just had. Discuss with possible action, execution of a service maintenance agreement for HVAC maintenance on city buildings. Oh,
So I had put this in the packet, if I may speak. We have in the past 2 years had, Mayville fire at City Hall twice for our HVAC system, belts going bad, so on and so forth, causing a fire or almost causing a fire. That twice the building's been filled with smoke. We since did some research. Chief Tolner does a great job on the PD side and in maintaining the equipment on the roof there. So we did some research and found out that we do not have any of our HVAC equipment under a maintenance contract. So the recommendation is we should proactively maintain our HVAC systems on all the buildings. That bid does include the library, so it's the new library. So it's everything the city owns has HVAC in.
oh, geez, I thought we did something about that.
We may
after
have
the
years-
First fire.
We,
And I know part of it ended up to be at Scott's not here. I thought that, it was gonna be one of Scott's jobs to take a look at some of that stuff. But, just like at my house, yeah, an
Yeah.
annual.
Yep.
Look, we don't have any quotes, we don't have.
we have a quote. It should
We
be,
do?
it's in your packet.
I don't see it.
No, hold on.
I did not see it, there, that's why I asked.
I will get it for you.
Oh, yeah, because we actually, I thought we contracted with, guys from Beaver Dam. Air Carrier.
The last one was from Sheboygan.
When the last fire was, we got a hold
Wait 1 second. I've got an email here.
Did it go through a request for proposal process?
I think what we have is someone that the PD uses on the PD side. That's how we got referred.
We have a list of the city buildings that would be involved in this.
Yeah, it's listed in the contract. One moment. There we go, there we go. Okay, Tag Center asked for theirs to be kept separate. All right. I'm gonna print these real quick. Make copies. Okay, I'm gonna grab, this one's 11 pages. So there's, Tag Center HVAC, there's Tag Center boiler.
You want them to be kept separate.
Yeah, the tag wanted theirs to be separate. And then there's the, maintenance agreement, city, for all the other city buildings. And, Scott Colemanberger did tour all the buildings with the
HVAC there.
with the HVAC guy, yeah. Perfect. Nothing's printed. Oh, please, let's see here. I got it. It should be, yeah. Okay, they're printing right now. So and you'll get copies of this in a moment, but the citywide maintenance agreement for all of the non-tag center items, it includes preventative maintenance, full service agreements, emergency repair, controls, installation service, commercial plumbing, commercial HVAC and mechanical services. So this is a preventative service agreement. There are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 air handlers, condensing units throughout the city. You could do a semi-annual maintenance plan, but they come out twice a year. The annual sum is $3,504, paid in $292 a month. And then from a GL standpoint, it's divided by the departments. So
Actually, not a lot of money for all that equipment.
right, and so $292 a month. If the city wanted to do a 3-year option, you would get some price protection, but it does, and it escalates, so it's about, looks like a 5% increase per year, so 3,504 year 1, 3,684 year 2, 3,828 year 3.
That's a semi-annual inspection.
So that is semi-annual, yeah, so they'll come out twice a year, inspect, repair as needed, maintenance.
So I only need to do that anyway because of the air conditioning versus the heat.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
It's like
I'm sorry,
any materials like belts,
I am looking at it now.
This is another one that we really should take some time to read.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. What I would say is you could recommend it to council. You all do your homework in between now and April 8th, where you could vote it down or propose an alternative, but I think we need to do a maintenance agreement for this stuff.
We're gonna bring it up with council. I think the other 2 members down here need copies of this also, so they can.
Yeah.
And a copy for Mike.
We'll get those. We'll get those for you. And you, I'm gonna just, I will remind. Yep. I'm gonna just, yeah, we'll make you copies right after the meeting.
So you need a motion to move it to the next council meeting?
Motion to recommend to council to proceed with the maintenance contract.
Motion by the, vote to vote out, second.
You want a second? Tony?
Tony,
Yeah.
right? All right,
Motion by Keith Lodahl, second by Tony DeBaker.
all right, okay, roll call, any further discussion? Take the roll call, please.
Gene Prince,
Aye.
Tony Baker.
Aye.
And Keith Lavelle.
Aye.
Right. Item 6, convene the closed session pursuant
We've
to
got
the.
we've got the room.
Now he's got-
Oh, boy, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Oh, the road.
Yeah, let's discuss with possible action additional work for this year's mill and repave program. Scope of to be on Dayton from Walnut Street to Main Street.
That is the recommendation of Jack Hurst, the DPW and the city engineer.
Let me see it.
Either it was our standard milling came in lower than anticipated.
Um, How do I see if it is up there?
Oh, Nick's, yeah, here, hang on. Let's go right to the engineer. Is he not in?
No, it's just,
Okay.
So this is in addition to the other proposed repavement that
Right,
annual.
yes.
What do we have for a budget, for paving this year?
250.
Come on.
250,000.
And we have the money to do this out of that budget?
Yes. There's also an option to not proceed and you will make up some of the deficit.
Well, we always had a contingency to do additional roads.
200,000 is the standard every year.
Like
Yeah,
that, yeah.
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 No, I haven't driven this. Is the reason that we need to do this when it's in worse shape than some of the other parts of the community, or what's the justification?
I guess I can pretty much guarantee that certainly from School Street to Walnut Street needs attention.
Let me get the engineer.
Maybe not that much attention to some of the other streets, but as far behind as we are in road maintenance, I'd like to see this go.
You know, I've been driving around, spending extra time in the second ward now, that's become a great deal more interest to me, and I don't know that there's a road over there that doesn't need this.
Right,
Correct.
yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I forget what we were on originally for turnaround, 20 years, or whatever life expectancy of a road to get each and every road paved, but we've got quite a bit behind on that.
I have no signal. Let me see.
I don't know anything that I.
What is it, 8?
Yep.
Yeah,
What's his number?
I don't know.
Do you have an estimate on this just from personal experience?
Northwest, yeah, but I'm not sure, that's why I wanna get Nick to speak to it. Yeah. Hey, Nick, Johnny Wynn. I'm gonna put, that's all right, I'm gonna put you on speaker, hold on. Can you hear me? Oh, wait, hold on. Do we know how to do this once I?
I don't know.
All right, put him on speaker.
think you put on speaker and then you hang up.
Hang on, I'm trying to get him on speaker. All right, Nick? Yep. Okay, cool, awesome. No, I'll try to hang up on you. All right, Nick, talk to us about the paving and milling, proposed project site. How did the funds become available? Give us a backstory.
So we put out a bid, for Breakfast Ridge, from Clark to Grove. That was part of the project. And at that point, we were assuming we had the 200,000 that was typical for the budget. The bids came in significantly lower. I don't know if it was just, different companies competing for the contract, but I mean, they were $15, $20 a ton cheaper on asphalt. So it led to significant price reduction there. And then after that, we found out that instead of 200,000, it was 250. So now there is going to be additional funds there, and after consulting with Jack, we're looking at doing the area that is highlighted on the map there, Dayton Street from Walnut to Main Street. So since it'd be more than, I think it's 15% of the original contract, we have to put out a second bid for that additional work.
So the original work and this proposed project totals $250,000.
It will be under the 250,000 that's budgeted, correct?
So this year the council budgeted $250,000 for milling and paving rather than the standard $200,000.
How does the price per ton compare to the last couple of years? Are we seeing it stabilize or go down even?
Well, that was the surprise that we had is, we were expecting a small increase where we had last year's bids were mid to upper 80s. We were expecting maybe upper 80s, low 90s. And what we got was low 70s.
That's a pleasant surprise.
Yes.
Yeah, yep, exactly.
So in the budget process this past year, I'm sure there were concerns about we wanted to make certain that what we normally would have spent 200,000 on, we wanted to make sure that we would have that much coverage. But we may have assumed that trucking costs, petroleum costs, we built a buffer in. That would be my understanding. So my question to the council would be, do we want to go ahead and commit to doing it? Or do we want to operate within the $200,000, which is our standard budget?
For right now, I mean, the city hasn't, awarded the bid for the first part of it. So, I know those came in, they kind of ranged, I think there was a range from like 150 to 190 is what we're getting for bid. So that's where that price difference between what the contractors put for bid unit prices fluctuates and created. So
Are we still within the time frame of all of the bids being current?
well, I was going to, after the meeting tonight, what was recommended, I would be putting a letter of recommendation before the common council at the next meeting. I believe in the contract, it stipulates that the city has 60 days from the bid opening to award that contract. Otherwise, the contractor can pull out on that bid.
Okay. Well, I think that it would make sense for the council to hear your recommendation at the council meeting. So I think it would be appropriate to move this to council. But the motion is to hear Kunkel Engineering's recommendations on the bids you received thus far.
Yeah. And at that time, you can discuss the budget.
Yes.
Where the excess, so.
Yep.
They come from, and
Yep.
if there's funds available.
Yep.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Motion by Lodell, second by Baker. Roll call, please.
Keith Prince,
Aye.
Tony, DeBaker.
Aye.
And Keith Little.
Aye.
All right, Nick, thank you. We will,
Thank
if you can prepare it for the council meeting, that'd be great.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Yep.
All right, now we're moving to 6, convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Stat Section 19.8, 1E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public businesses, whatever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session.
Motion for closed session.
We go into closed session.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded.
Take a
We
roll.
need to do the roll call on this. Yep.
Keith Prince,
Aye.
Tony DeBaker.
Aye.
And Keith Little.
Aye.